There's some rappers, they be like, bury me with all my chains on. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Why?
But okay.
It's technically theirs.
I'm going to go back and dig you up later and take those chains off.
You're a
of you,
grave
alright?
digger, bro.
I'm taking those chains off.
That's illegal.
Well,
I don't condone that, by the way.
For our next topic, should we hold material things of people who have passed away, or should we just let them go? Just recently, my aunt passed away, and my family's in Puerto Rico now, with the funeral and all that. And there's some stuff here that's, obviously that belonged to my aunt or whatever. And, I think there is a time frame where you just kind of be like, hey, I think there's a gap where you got to let people grieve just a little bit and then kind of say, hey, let's try to get rid of some of the stuff. I don't think 2 days, 3 days later, let's toss this. That's a little bit savage, I would say. But do you guys think
Who knows?
that
Maybe it could be therapeutic for you to burn away all the former belongings.
Man, that's a flip. That's a
It's
good
like everybody
flip.
gets together and they just start destroying all the heirlooms or whatever, articles of clothing and things like that. I don't know.
Do you guys think you would agree with getting rid of the things or just keeping them? Like, what would you?
In what sense? Am I the person that passed? Because if I'm the person that passed, I don't care. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write up my will and hand out things. But I don't care if the people keep the things or not. I won't be around anymore. What do I care?
Yeah, like if you were to pass and we had a,
I will turn in my fucking grave if any of you fucking sell my shit after I die, okay? You better keep that shit for the rest of your life. You better pass it down to your children.
That's crazy.
Heirlooms.
Doey's Vita becomes an heirloom that's passed down from generation to generation.
Goddamn right. All right? You give this to my unborn child. What child? Don't worry. There'll be one. All right?
That's
A child will arise from the ranks.
but what do you? So, though you're in the camp of just keeping things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think history is meaningful. And I think you need to know your future, you need to know your past, and you need to remind yourself of the things you've been through and the people that have come along the way. Sometimes the people aren't there anymore. So they're not there to tell you, hey, what we've been through, you kind of got to look at a picture, or you kind of got to look at that hat, or you kind of got to play something, movie. It's something is going to grab you. Whenever I watch The Matrix, it's like me and my brother love that movie so much as I still feel his presence when I'm watching that movie. So there's a lot of things that bring me closer to that. But there was a lot of things that I couldn't do, that I couldn't play certain games. Marvel became I couldn't watch Marvel movies like that because it just made me think about my brother a lot. And but I think grief, I don't think you can put a time limit on grief. I think the way people grieve is some people are going to grieve way longer. Some people have different relationships. Sometimes you give birth to the person who dies. You're going to feel different than how his friends feel, than how his, you know what I mean? I think everybody grieves differently. And I think sometimes people hoard. It's a grieving. It's like a part of grieving.
And that's one of my things too. It's just like, there's certain things, right? Like, let's say there's a computer and a desktop was your brother's, and you didn't want to let it go. So no matter where you go for the rest of your life, you're just gonna hold on to these items. Like, you're just gonna what's the point of putting it in storage? You're just gonna pay for something. It's almost like a like you're not gonna forget them in memory. So like having the material items, maybe. You don't really necessarily need them, because if you're gonna remember him. Like my grandmother, I think that's what she literally changed my life around when it comes to people dying. Like when she passed away, after that, my sense of people dying has just dropped down. Like the sensitivity level, I guess, of it, because it's just like they died and I'm sad, right? I'm sad. I'm like, it hurts, but it's at the same time, it's just like, you know, like I have a shell now. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm just like, whatever, like almost type
I know
feeling.
exactly what you mean, because like my cousin passed away very young, like 23 years old. And like his death kind of stun locked me. Ever since, I've never, all types of people have died. Like, you know, I've had friends that passed. My other grandparent, I had 2 grandparents pass away, uncle, and like I'm just like, yeah, it almost doesn't faze me at all. I don't think it's healthy, but I mean I can't control my feelings. But yeah, I feel like when my cousin passed away, I just feel like it stunted my emotions with dealing with death to the point where I just, like, my reaction to it is just like, all right, people die, like I just can't care about it, and like I don't know how to not feel that way. It's just the way that I feel. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Tony, that you're like, since your grandmother passed, you kind of don't, you're
desensitized,
decreased sensitivity.
Yeah,
I'm sure when, like, I don't know, if like one of my brothers or my parents pass, I'm sure my reaction would be dramatically different. But
I would hope, like, that's a, you know how crazy, like, it's not a little fear, like
that would be a really, I would feel guilt for not feeling bad.
Yeah,
I've experienced that too. I felt guilt for, like, I remember, it sounds crazy, my and maybe it's just, I don't know, I think different people just deal with death differently too. Like, when my grandmother passed away, we were supposed to go that weekend. We bought tickets to go see Nas and Lauryn Hill, right? And then my grandmother passed away, and then there was a funeral and this, like, and all that crap. So I think we had a funeral Saturday morning, and I was driving to Miami to go watch the Nas concert. And I told my brother, I was like, "Yo, am I tripping if I did this?" And my brother's like, "It's gonna be a bad look," you know what I mean? And I ended up not going because of the perception of I should be feeling bad, and not because I actually felt so bad that I couldn't enjoy myself. You know what I mean? You're on mute, though.
I would have went to the concert.
Same.
Now knowing, I mean, hindsight is 2020, right? Like, but after losing so many people, it's so much healthier for you to do things that takes your mind off of it and like allows you to process other feelings. Death is very, it's like an oil. That shit is very thick. And if you allow it to sit and fester, it's just not very healthy. I'm not to say not to mourn. You can mourn and grieve, but it's very good to also do things that make you feel happy. You don't have to punish yourself. And I think a lot of people end up doing that.
Bro, there's like, to this day, there's certain smells, certain things that would trigger me, and I would just fucking break down. Like, it's because of my grandmother. And I would just sit there and I would just start, like, I can't control it. My eyes would start watering and all that. And it takes me like a second to just like shut it off and then just go back to doing what I was doing. But, you know, people have seen me, like, I'll be at work, it happened to me. I'd sit there doing it, and then a smell passed by, and it reminded me of my grandmother's crema. She used to make like crema in the morning, like oatmeal. And I smelt it, and all of a sudden, I just started bawling at work. Like, no crying out loud, just my eyes just kept tearing and tearing. And everybody's like, "Yo, you good?" I'm like, "I'm all right, man. I'm good." No, like, got something in my eye. And it's just like, it's just a weird emotion. Yeah, some ego, like ego man bullshit, I know. But it's like, it's just, I don't know, man. That shit, it really messed me up to the point to now, like, I'm afraid that if my parents or my sisters or somebody, God forbid, passes away, that would I really feel emotions? Like, I'll be sad, but would I really? That's a fear too. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm gonna look like a piece of shit son where his parents pass and he's not even crying.
Is this the episode where we realized that all of Tony's issues are rooted in him not wanting to give up control and not wanting to just experience things freely?
No, I was sad, bro. Like, I was experiencing I went through all the process of death, like with my grandmother and all that. And I don't know. It's a block. It's maybe my mind blocked it. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it, bro. But that's why I feel like when it comes to giving stuff away, like, or getting rid of things, maybe it's from that. Like, I just don't feel like I should be holding certain things of people who passed. Like, I don't need their washer. I don't need their hair dryer or this.
Oh, we're talking about
old,
not even like sentimental things. We're just talking about like things in general. What about what about the negativity that can come from things like that? Like family members fighting over jewelry or fighting over property that is being gifted to someone and things like that.
I hate that too.
Is there a way to avoid that? Like, how do you well, even with a will though, they can lawyer up and they can go and, you know, fight that they're not being fairly I don't know. I know that you can contest a will.
You could fight against. I don't know how contesting a will really works. There has to be some, in my mind, there has to be some very unclear language in order to like effectively fight a will, because somebody's saying, I want to give David this thing. I don't know I don't know how you could ever fight against that. Like,
I know that siblings can argue that they're not being fairly I don't even know what the term is. That they're not being fairly considered in the will, but I know that it's a thing that's happened, right?
Imagine you're clearly being shitted on in the will, and you're like, "Oh, really?" I'm like,
there's there's some shady things that have happened in my family. We've had funerals before where like some of like the great tias went to that person's house. They skipped the funeral, just went to that person's house and took all the jewelry that they felt that belonged to them that should have been theirs. Death brings out some bad stuff out of people, man.
Yeah,
you realize that some people
just don't feel entitled enough to ever do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have to be something like, I don't know, if some of my, like, God forbid my wife passed away and then someone from her family came and just took her car, like, I'm entitled to this car. It would be like, well, hold on. Like, that's a little different now. But yeah, I don't know.
Even if they say, oh, I want this person to have this car, or I want this person to have this, like, can you fight that as a husband? Like, nah, like, we both paid for that. Like, how can she give away something that's not
Tony,
truly only
Tony,
hers,
this is
you know what I mean?
America.
Like,
you can lawyer up for anything and try to fight anything. It's like,
yeah, that's crazy, man. Every death, there's always some negativity, bro. Something goes down. It's sad too. I don't know how it started, or I don't even care how it started, really. It's just like, why, bro? Like, we're like, most of the time we're all grown. It's the grown adults, the older people that want to fight and pick, oh, who's getting the money, this and that. It's just like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I can't even imagine like trying. I couldn't claim anything that my parents owned. Like, if they passed away right now and it wasn't clear like who's supposed to own their house or something like that, I feel like the right thing would be like, all right, let's just sell it and split the bread. And if one of my siblings were trying to like
keep it,
strong arm someone else out of doing it and trying to take all the money, like, I'd be salty about it, but I would never get to the point where I would like get a lawyer to, like, I don't know. Maybe if it was like $100 million and I'm like, dude, this is a life-changing amount of money. You gotta come in. Like, but having seen these little family like squabbles over like a Jesus piece, over a dress, like, it's like, this is so weird. Like, this is what we fighting about, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things I would just like literally get rid of. Like, I mean, for the longest, I had my grandmother's rosary. I don't know how the Spanish version of it escaped me. Yeah. For the longest. And I had it so long that it started deteriorating. And, you know, I got rid of it at one point because it was just a couple beads and the string. Like, it was done for. And I asked myself, too, like, damn, like, this goes against my nature, too. Like, why am I holding on to this thing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the camp of just not holding on to certain things anymore because it's like, you know, but why am I doing this? Like, I asked myself that and got rid of it, but it was just like, I don't know. It's something, I don't know. It's weird, bro. Like, you do stupid things, or not stupid, you do certain things sometime and it's just unexplainable. But now though, anybody passes away, if Pucho were to say, yo, have my bed, I might keep it because it's a good bed. I can sleep in it. But am I going to keep it forever type thing? No. Like, all respects to Pucho, you're dead. You don't need this. I don't need this. I'm going to get rid of it.
I don't think I'd take a dead person's bed. I don't think I would want to sleep in that bed.
That's a bad example, but I mean, I don't know. It was a bad example.
It was
I already
a
said it, so you
terrible
can-
example.
Wow.
But I called
It's
dibs.
like taking a
on
dead
me.
person's toothbrush. It's like
I called dibs
Ew.
on the 78-inch.
Would we
77. You got it wrong. You shouldn't even
you
claim
don't
it now.
deserve it.
Would we
Yeah.
take one of Pucho's shirts and we would hang it up on the wall? We'd have like a ceremony and it'd be like hanging his jersey up in a stadium or
How
something.
come I'm the dead one in this?
That's
How
how
did I
these
die?
Tony started it.
Oh, word. No, but I mean, they can hang his shirt up in the rafters in the One Up Pods arena, like just I mean, I would, right? But like I don't know. If Pucho were to give me his TV, yeah, I'll enjoy it. I'll keep it. Sure, it's an electronic piece, like you can use it. But try to give me something else.
Yeah,
like
I think we're really talking about things that aren't functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like sentimental things, like jewelry,
Yes.
like pictures, photo albums, things like that.
Like my dad. My bad. I unplugged my mic and the whole recording went to absolute hell, but we're back now, guys. So like I was saying, I think I was saying like if my pops were to like pass away or something, he has this gold chain that he wears all the time. If he left it to me, I'd probably start wearing a gold chain. Even though historically I just don't wear jewelry. Like I got my watch, it's an Apple Watch actually. It's really for fitness.
Fire.
And my wedding ring, and that's it. I don't usually wear anything else. But I mean, for sentimental reasons, I'd probably start wearing, my dad's gold chain if he had left it to me or something like that. And actually, in the past, when my cousin passed away, he was staying in my room for a little while prior to him passing away. He left a hoodie in my closet, and after he passed away, that hoodie stood in my closet for years. I kind of felt weird about like tossing it. And I wasn't really keeping it for any like feeling of remembrance or anything like that. I just sort of felt like I was gonna throw away the memory of my cousin if I threw away his hoodie or something like that. It was weird. And then one day my mom was cleaning out the closet, or maybe I gave the hoodie to somebody. I don't remember. Either way, I don't have the hoodie anymore, and I'm kind of for the most part, just getting rid of things like that, where like, I don't know, somebody died, I'm not gonna keep anything. I'll toss things pretty quickly, especially if like I don't have a use for it. You know what I mean? But
Oh, yeah, I think it's normal. Sure.
I think that's abnormal. But I think most people would hold on to things.
I think that there's probably something like I think there's probably something therapeutic probably about getting rid of the belongings. I mean, like some ancient cultures used to like burn all their belongings, or like, the pharaohs would get buried with everything they owned. Like there might be something like therapeutic about not keeping the belongings of your loved ones, just focusing on the memories and healing and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's some rappers, they be like, bury me with all my chains on, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Why?
Okay.
It's technically theirs.
I'm gonna go back and dig you up later and take those chains
Wow,
off.
you're a
of you.
grave digger, bro.
I'm taking those chains off.
That's
of you.
illegal.
I don't condone that, by the way.
I'll just do it.